Brian, how are you, mate?
Apart from having COVID, I'm all good.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to
All,
hear that. I'm just going to take some Saka Arsenal tears.
you do that. You do that. Iggy, how are you, bro?
I'm good, mate. How are you? How did you see the game tonight?
I watched it at home. I weren't going to go to the Scotland Yard. What can I say? Was it pretty? No. Do I care? No. Are we 5 points clear of the top of the league? Yes. Are we undefeated? Yes. Have we gone 3 wins out of 3 in October? Yes. Is ANGE likely to get a third manager of the month? Yes. What more can you say? It's astonishing what's happening, but brilliant. It weren't pretty, but it was a huge. You got to remember, this is a huge test. It was our first game, apart from Fulham Burnley, where it was like back-to-back Premier League games, and we passed another test.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. And I think Iggy was spot on with, we get that first goal, we're going to get another goal, and then the game was pretty comfortable until that dubious handball. I mean, what was your thoughts on that? Do you think it was handball? Is it handball? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's hard to say. Let's face it. It was Porro went up maybe went up a little bit too early and misjudged the flight of the ball. It's an exceptional finish by the Palace striker. And those ones, listen, we've all been bitching and moaning about handballs. I think that one, if it had been given, would have been very harsh. Let's be fair. So you got to be fair when it comes to this. I think it would have been fair. But one thing I do really want to talk about is, I've said it before, that you really notice how bad you miss a player when he's out. And boy, did we miss Destiny today. You could tell the difference without him. You could see it. But first half was quite sloppy, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think the ref contributed to that with the way in which he was not giving fouls or not putting his sort of ascendancy on the game by giving a yellow card early doors, because there was probably one, maybe two tackles that probably could have put one of those Palace players in a book.
Yeah, I mean, that was an issue, but also I think the biggest issue for me is the first half, when Van der Ven, who was absolutely unbelievable once again. Oh, mate, he was sensational. He is just incredible. Especially when you heard Carragher and Neville saying against Brentford he looks stiff and United, but now he's magnificent, or now he's incredible. He is outstanding. But when he went down holding his knee, I was like, oh, please, God, no. Just please, no. And thankfully he got up. But yeah, Nick, you're right. The referee weren't the best, but the second half was different, wasn't it? We came out as a different team. Ben Davis. One thing. Let's talk about Richarlison. Has to be dropped for Brennan Johnson for Chelsea. I put a tweet out at half-time saying that I think we need his pace and his directness. You can see the difference he made. He had a great contribution for the second goal, and we just looked better with him on, didn't we?
Yeah, we looked much better on that left-hand side with Brennan Johnson and Emerson Royale. I had to get him in there, obviously.
Shocking that you did. But of course, another highlight was having Bentancur back, wasn't it? I don't think the Premier League is ready. I don't think the Premier League's ready for Bissouma, Maddison, and Bentancur. But also, Sarr was brilliant as well today.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, he was brilliant today. He does so much off the ball. He was brilliant. But like we said, it's another 3 points in the bag. And who would have said going into November, Spurs would have been undefeated, top of the league.
New manager
at the moment
bounce.
by 5.
New manager bounce, Brian.
Mate, let's just keep this thing bouncing. We must have like a major slinky or one of those huge bounces. Bloody hell, mate. It just keeps going and going and going, and long may it continue. Mate, long may it continue. You can just sit there. You can see the connection with the players and the fans are back as well, especially with the manager. It's just incredible things happening at Tottenham Hotspur at the moment.
If we can, at the end of the day, the best thing about our team for me continuously is the spine. The spine of the team is so strong. I did think in the first half we weren't good enough in the wider areas, both right and left. Obviously, the left one was a bit more disjointed because we have two players that haven't played there forever. I mean, when was the last time we saw Davis and Richarlison? So when we was able to up the quality, Emerson is technically a good player. Defensively, he's very sound, and obviously they stopped coming on that right hand side. And more importantly, we weren't dragging Van der Ven on the cover like it was in the first half. We stopped that. And obviously, like you rightly say, Brennan Johnson did add more quality. He played a part in the goal as well. And so in that little amount he was on the pitch, he contributed a bit more in the final third. And obviously, Cooley started taking on his man a little bit more. Porro, apart from that, little bit like missing the head that contributed to the goal, which I felt, and I continuously, and I've seen it a few times since. I still think it should have been ruled out, but it doesn't matter now. But I thought the quality and the wings was a lot better in the second half, and that's where once we got ahead, which was the most important part of it for me. I knew we was going to go on and win that game quite comfortably, and in the end we did.
Well, Nick, is it just me? But like we were second half Tottenham last season under Conte, Kulusevski seems to be a second half player. He starts the first half very slow, but not having a bad game. He just starts it slow, like in the final third, and then in the second half, he has much more of an impact in the second half. I don't know if that's a tactical thing. I don't know if that's they want to play more
space, Brian. It just had more space in the second half. The spaces started to open up. Son started getting in a little bit more. As Madison started to affect, all our attacking players benefit from having space and pitch to run on. And I'll tell you something else, and I'll say it here right now. With Bentancur's return, you will see another level of Kulusevski coming up. I really do. I know people getting on his back a lot. I do get that. I know he's got more in him, and I think that with Bentancur's return, because they're really good mates as well, and I think that will benefit his game also. I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited like every Spurs fan. I'm excited right now.
You've got to be. Like we said, if someone had said, listen, joking, if we have a little joke here, we're 16 points away from 40, so we can all relax about that. Because apparently we were going to be a mid-table team this season, weren't we, without certain players and whatever. November, December, we'll see. I mean, December for everyone in the Premier League, it's a hard month. But to have this start that we've had, as have this momentum and this bond that this team has got, and this connection and love for the manager and everything, it's only positive, isn't it? It is only positive. We just need to stay away from injuries, and make sure that in January players do come in, and we go from there, because we have got something building here. And we need to carry on building. We have to carry on building with it. But what we've got at the moment are just going above and beyond what any of us thought.
I hope the internationals don't hurt us, because that's coming up again. And then for me, if we can stay in the mix, at the end of the day, no one's saying about title or anything like that. We just need to stay in the mix to have a really good second half of the season. And then it will come down. I really do believe it will come down to what we do in January as well. If we do something to help this current team, the crop of players, by adding a couple of players on to really up the quality and quantity of the quality of the players that we bring in, to then go again that second half. You saw the importance of the two players that came in for Conte, in Bentancur and Kulusevski. That helped us massively. And we was in the same situation we are now, playing one game a week. Those two players made a huge difference. If we can do that for Ange Postecoglou in January, I know we're a bit off from that, but I'm really thinking there. I think that's where we will play a big chunk of our season.
Well, you started that saying, I hope the international break doesn't affect us. Let's have a look. We've had two right now, and they certainly haven't. So let's hope that it happens again. And this is the last one till March. So this is what it comes down to. Right now, everything is going well. We just hope. We got, Chelsea, then Villa. Yeah. Then it's the international break. So we got their two enormously tough games. And if I would go as far as to say, if we can stay undefeated, let alone take 6 points, take 4 points, or even take 2, if we can go undefeated into the middle of November or whenever that works out, still undefeated, still sitting pretty at the top of the league, then you've got to start thinking what can we do in the second half of the season. That's got to be the objection now. We've got to start thinking about it. But as we speak right now, everything is going our way, and long may this continue.
Absolutely.
All right, Brian. Just a final thing. Did you answer the? Obviously, we couldn't hear you about the Canadian Premier League, because there was another super chat in from David. He said, "Not the MLS, the terrible Canadian League. Go Cavalry FC."
Yeah. So I know there is. I know of it. And a member of Toronto Spurs is very big part of North York, or the team that plays here in North York, which would be my local team, and also Paul Stalteri is part of it. So I'm aware of it. Have I watched any of it? Not a goddamn second of it. Put it that way.
Brian, just on Angie's press kind of talking after the game. We've got it's brilliant. You'll love it. He says, I thought we handled it well. It's not an easy place to come, and the way we set up their discipline defensively. I think we've stayed patient and scored 2 good goals. I'm really pleased. I thought it went how the game would go, and it would take time for us to open them up. I'm happy that we stayed disciplined and stuck to the football we wanted to play. Every week is a different challenge. The key for us was to be disciplined, focused, and persistent in our play when we did that. I think the spell between the first and second goal, we were dominant and played some really good football, and then still think the lads handled the end of the match well. We haven't faced that situation this year, and there was a really clear headedness about the team, and there was no rushing and panicking, which was a good sign. On the handball claims for Jordan Ayew's goal, this is brilliant. I'm not going to talk about handball. I have no idea what is a handball anymore.
That's it. He's right, no, but he's absolutely bang on the money. But the one thing I'll pick up on that is the discipline. We all got worried. And fair play to East Basuma, because we all know he's been making rush challenges. He has to get through this game without a booking. And he did it. He stayed disciplined. He did what he had to do. And listen, mate, whatever Ange Postecoglou says, I completely, totally and utterly agree with. Like I said, he can read the back of a cereal box, and I would want him to read another one. The man is a genius, and I love this man to pieces. And what a blessing it is that we have got him.
Yeah, look, Brian, absolutely. I mean, what are your thoughts on Monday's game coming up against Chelsea?
This is, as you know, you two will know very, very well. The game for me, the game of the season at White Hart Lane, is always the filth from the other side of North London. It's all about this one for me this season. There's just so much.
That will never be part of North London. South Londoners. This
game is massive. There is so much added spice to this game on next Monday, and the fact we've now got 9 days to recover, or 10 days, whatever it works out at. Gets a doggy fit, gives Bentancur more time, gives the whole team a rest. We'll be fit, firing, and ready to go. The Spurs fans, I think. People talk a lot. I mean, I've seen what it's like in the stadium this season, and people talk about the 3-0 when we beat the field with Conte. I think this game against Chelsea is going to be the game of all games for that 12th man. And I think it's 3 points for Tottenham.
He's magic, you know.
Yeah, he ain't magic anymore, mate.
Oh, Brian.
Yes, sir. So listen, I'll let you guys crack on and get on with the rest. I'm not going to leave. When Spurs have a win, I'm not leaving with my normal thing. So it's not about that, man. It's about the team today. So once again, I will say, have a great show, guys. Nick, Iggy, I will give you a call this weekend for sure. And come on, you Spurs.